The agenda, we have Sam Ortiz and Bryan Smith and Holly Leahy is back. Okay.
All right.
Before you start on that, there's actually three things to that Sam's going to present. I'm not sure which order, but if he goes with the ESG shelter grant first, there's a narrative that was not in your packet that I can put up on my screen here, although between the two of them, they can probably rattle off what's in the narrative. And as you know, this is a program that you had applied for previously, not received, and my understanding is it's pretty much a mirror duplicate of what was applied before, but unsuccessfully. Is that right, gentlemen?
That's correct.
It's all right. I'll just bring that narrative up on the screen, and if anybody wants to go through it. Well, Sam, is that what you want to do first? I guess I'm jumping ahead here.
Well, I wanted to give a sort of, good morning, commissioners. This is Samuel Ortiz, administrator at Community Action Partnership. I wanted to briefly share just some slides from a presentation to give a brief overview of the ESG program. This is Emergency Services Grant, a coronavirus allocation. There was a previous application that we submitted in November. As he stated, it was not approved for a number of reasons. Some of them were missing documents, but we're applying again by the February 26th deadline. So I'm going to just share my screen real quick here. All right, can we see everything?
No.
No.
No. One more time here. How about now?
There you go.
There we go. Okay, so this is just a quick application overview. Like I said, the applications are going to be due February 26th. It's going to be for a 12-month contract with expenditure deadline December of this year. The application eligible activities are listed here, and the narrative states exactly what it's going to be used for. Bryan can attest to that. And the majority of the program involves hotel and motel costs because of the unavailability of congregate shelter during the COVID era. So this lists a little bit further information about how that's going to be looking. And then these are some of the reporting deadlines. So it's supposed to have started September of last year, which was the first round. And then these are the different queues. So I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Bryan to talk about that.
I don't think we talked about this just a few months ago. There was a $20 million allocation. They allocated 3.1 million. So there's, another 16 plus million that's available this time. Really, nothing's changed. We're continuing to work in the non-congregate setting, and that's the goal out of this, is to keep our shelter guests in a non-congregate setting. We do have some work that's going on in our community to try to address long-term sustainment of sheltering, emergency sheltering in a more appropriate environment long-term. So we really see this as a stopgap. I think what the funds are intended for is to be a one-time, during this environment. So if there's any questions, otherwise it's the same as last time. We're looking for basically 1 year worth of operational expenses to cover. Majority of that's $180,000 in the hotel expenditures.
Okay. Thank you, Bryan. And the documents that we had submitted are not completed. There's some further information that I need to follow up with and get clarification on before we can have it submitted. So just wanted to kind of give you guys an idea of what we're doing. There's nothing to be approved today, but we will need your signature and approval prior to the submission deadline.
Which we don't have a public meeting before.
Yeah, so what's the deadline again?
February 26th is the application deadline.
Oh yeah, you are going to.
We should tentatively approve it today so that we're able to sign it when it's ready.
So what is the total amount you're applying for then? Is it 16 million or?
Oh, no, that's the full
Total, yeah.
grant.
Two-
Our
298.
application's for 298,750.
300,000. Yeah.
There's a budget in your packet.
Okay, it's very confusing because a lot of the papers weren't filled in and I wasn't following everything, so.
I apologize for that.
But I'm good with Commissioner Ames' suggestion that we agree tentatively, now, since we don't have a meeting, another one before this 26th. If
I
someone
don't-
would like to make a motion.
As long as we have the amount, and that's 298,750, right?
Yep, yes,
Okay.
52.
I'll make a motion to apply for the grant of $298,750 upon completion.
I'll second that, Chairman.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we agree to sign this when it is ready to be signed, and we're adopting that grant application, giving you the permission to go forward with that. Any comment or question, or Jamie, any more clarification?
Just that your breakdown of the budget, Commissioner Litz, looks like that.
Yeah, that's what I remember seeing is that little
Yep.
chart. But
That's the
that
number.
wasn't the whole grant app, and that's why I was confused by, because there was nothing else with it.
Anything else for clarification purposes from Bryan or Sam? If not,
Just that some of the documents that are required for the application need further clarification. That's all.
okay,
Everything else is going to be looking identical and should be ready to go.
very good. Then all in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed? So moved. All right, step one.
Thank you, Commissioners. Okay, so the secondary packet is going to be the Federal Emergency Rental Assistance Program. It was State Bill 109, is now known as Act 1 of 2021. Then this is informational. I had included a document from the Department of Human Services, which is the most recent information provided to us concerning key dates and the purpose and background of the application. The allocation we'll be receiving is quite large. So we are looking at about 8,478,057 with a admin percentage of about 466,288 to provide rental assistance. And cover administrative costs and capabilities. At the moment, we're still waiting for guidelines from DHS before we're able to move on. Like Jamie said, the law was recently passed and a tentative deadline of April 1st was provided, or 30 days after the passing of the law. So we're currently in communication with various potential partners in the county to try to spread this out as much as we can. It's going to be a large program, as we said, and we would like to partner. One of these is Karen Grow. I was getting some very good guidance and information from her. But we are planning to move forward with this. The program will provide up to 12 months of rental assistance. There is no rental cap, unlike the PHFA program, which capped rental assistance at $750 per month, up to 15 months, depending on extenuating circumstances. Just wanted to inform commissioners that this is in process and we're going to be working closely with the county on getting this out. But at the moment, we're still waiting for guidance.
Okay.
Okay.
So no action today.
No action for that today, just providing the information. I've included the key dates for you and the information about the program. As soon as I get any updates on information, I'll be informing JB and we'll be in communication.
Yeah.
If I may, I'm sorry.
No, go right ahead. Sorry.
No, I just want your suggestion about partnering with Karen Grow at the Chamber is an excellent one. We all know the record that she left with the CARES money. And, you know, I think it's wise to reach out to her, and you have enough administrative built into this that, you can, there may be an agreement that you could help fund, because the chamber doesn't get much funding. They rely on memberships, but she is an excellent asset in these kinds of programs. So I definitely encourage you to follow through with that.
That's correct. And, we think, I agree with you. Thank you, Commissioner. She was, in a recent conversation, she was very helpful, and I think will be a great partner with this program if possible. We learned a lot through the last rental assistance program, and we really want to get as much information out about this as possible, as early as possible. So thankfully we did have that kind of first run with the PHFA program. Unfortunately, we were only able to spend about half of the funds, and this program has a lot less restrictions as far as eligibility for tenants and for landlords. So we are really looking forward to be able to help a lot more people with this program. Okay, so that'll be all for that for now.
Just to put it in perspective, this is a big undertaking. We, as you all know, got $12.8 million in CARES funding in 2020. This is $8 million. It's a lot to put out there. I think it's going to be challenging depending on the guidance. Again, as Sam mentioned, still waiting on guidance from DHS, but I think the consumers and clients that are going to be receiving this are maybe going to have some challenges in terms of access to technology, things like that. So this is going to be a big undertaking. There's 6 months, I think, that they're allowing for it so far. Won't be surprised if there's discussion of an extension. We'll see. But to reiterate what Sam said, and we heard yesterday in the CCAP meeting that DHS, everyone's waiting on DHS to come out with some information on how this is going to play out. So CCAP's doing a pretty good job of staying on top of that with the administration, and Sam also has an association, CAA, that I think is providing information. So it's hurry up and wait for the moment.
Yeah, we may have to, like we did with the reassessment, get a third-party area, as we may have for vaccinations, and maybe use some of that space, because it's time-wise, it's pretty simultaneous with that. So might be some opportunities there. Okay. Well, thank you, Sam. We'll await DHS's approval, and we can move on from there then.
Thank you.
Now we have, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm assuming we can move on to the crisis contract.
Correct. Yes. So briefly, the previous contract that was signed was delayed, and afterwards I was notified that there was some date errors and some missing documents. So I apologize for that. We're going to have to get that signed again in order for it to be executed and for payments and all that to be processed. So that's simple. That was handed over to you guys. But within that discussion, we decided that it might be the best interest of the county and of the entire process for us to hand oversight of the crisis intervention program to MHIDEI. And we included a few talking points in the packet, and I'd like to hand it over to Holly to kind of discuss that.
Good morning, Holly Leahy, Administrator for Lebanon County Mental Health, Intellectual Disabilities Early Intervention Program. So the crisis intervention contract has always been kind of a complicated contract, because it's one contract that has been managed by Community Action Partnership, but it's actually funded through multiple departments, county departments, for crisis intervention. That being Children and Youth Services, the Drug and Alcohol Commission, Community Action Partnership, in addition to Mental Health, Intellectual Disabilities Early Intervention Program. So it's a complicated contract. It has been managed through Community Action Partnership, very well through Community Action Partnership. However, in discussion with Sam, we've been talking about all the issues related to managing that contract. The first really thing that comes to mind is that the MHMR Act of 1966 requires that the MHIDEI administrator is directly responsible for crisis intervention and the commitments within the county. So that puts a great deal of responsibility upon MHIDEI. And it has been a little bit difficult as the contract has not been managed through this office. So it has been a little bit more difficult to hold WellSpan Philhaven accountable for things that we need, such as data and reports and what's happening on a daily basis, even though we are overseeing crisis intervention on a daily basis. There is ever increasing scrutiny from federal, state, and local levels with regard to crisis intervention services. And we kind of feel like Community Action Partnership is sort of in the middle of all of that. And by transitioning the management of that contract to MHIDEI, it would take CAP out of the middle of those discussions. We feel that MHIDEI does have the fiscal staff available and able to prepare and distribute the quarterly fiscal reports and all necessary reports that need to happen for crisis intervention. And MHIDEI does carry the biggest amount of that contract for crisis intervention. All things considering, we are asking your consideration to transfer the management of that crisis intervention contract from Community Action Partnership to MHIDEI effective July 1 of 2021 with the fiscal year 21-22 contract.
Any comment on what Holly has just presented?
Make a motion to approve the contract for crisis intervention to be managed by MHIDEI. They have a crack accounting team over there, A1. So I know that'll make things a lot easier all the way around.
All right, I'll second the motion.
Okay, and that'll be effective July 1st is what you're looking for. Yep. Okay.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Well, we didn't vote yet, so we don't know. Is there any other discussion? If not, all in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Now you may thank us.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you all.
Thank you, guys. Yep.